All right, good morning all. We are going to go through some tricks and tips and things that I've learned using Nansen, and I'm going to show you some things about the the market that might help you in the future to find the top. And we're going to do it real quick because ain't nobody got time to sit around and watch a 30-minute video, do they? So we're going to try to keep it between 10 and 20 minutes here, so I'll go pretty fast. If any of you aren't really following me on Twitter at Bike for Sale, you may want to. I've got some, things like Engineering Robo here. You can see on my profile that, you could have caught this 40X. It'll tell you how to get a 7-day free trial. And then I've updated, my thoughts on the market. We've got liquidity is starting to come back in here. If you look at the Nansen dashboard, if you use it, we've got a little spike here on stables going back to exchanges. And showing GRT seems to be, some increase in people accumulating this token here. So just kind of go through and you can look at some of the things I've been posting, but we're going to go through some things live so that you can see them in real time right now. Bitcoin is pretty much holding, all these gains that it's made. As long as it holds the CME gap, it'll be fine. I mean, it could even come down here back to 100K, and I think it would be okay for alts. We just want to see it holds this 50 RSI line and not lose that. That would be good. These are CME futures. So we do have some gaps. There was a gap here that got filled. And what I mean by that is it had a big pump, and now it's got a fair value gap. And the gap is usually filled before price continues, but sometimes it gets left behind like this one right here. So this gap up here has been filled, which means we could keep climbing, and we probably will, in my estimation. But in the future, you're going to see this gap get filled eventually, and there could be some below. I haven't looked at any further below. But when the next bear market comes, you'll see the gaps of these get filled more. This is a really important chart, of course, looking at Bitcoin dominance versus the ETH Bitcoin pair. We were talking about it very early that there was resistance up here that was going to happen at some point, and the dominance for Bitcoin was going to fall, and ETH Bitcoin was going to pump, which of course pumps ETH USDT pair. And what we're seeing right now is the RSI has fallen below the 14-day EMA, which caused this to roll over as well. And you're coming back down to the 50 RSI here, so we may see some chop where we're not just going to go up in a straight line. The Bitcoin dominance might hit this 50 RSI line and bounce up temporarily and then roll back over. And when that happens, you might see a rejection here on ETH Bitcoin where it just rejects temporarily. And then once this breaks through the 50 RSI line, that's when things really get parabolic. May come down, make a higher low, and then be ready to go. But I'm still looking at, around October as the market top. We'll just have to see if it plays out like it always has been. If it doesn't, then I could see it extending to something like, March of 2026. But that's the longest I could see it extending. Bear markets are here to stay. I mean, don't let people tell you that they're just going away. That's not going to happen. All right, what else did I want to show you? I think we'll jump into Nansen now. Here's your dashboard on Nansen. By the way, if you go down on this video, if you go down to the bottom in the description, you'll see a 10% off link. You can get 10% off on Nansen. So what you're looking at is the token screener. This will tell you all of your DEX flows, all of your smart money. I'm going to click smart money here. All of what smart money is doing right now, what tokens that are involved in. You're not seeing many currently because I'm all the way down on a 5-minute chart. So I just wanted to start with that to show you if you're somebody that likes to trade in and out quickly, then maybe the 5-minute is something you want to look at. You can change any of your chains here. Currently I'm looking at Base, Solana, Ethereum. You can change the token age to be, maybe you only want to look at tokens that are 0 to 7 days old. And in this case, you're going to get less information usually, but the reason why you'd want to use something like this is now you would see just brand new tokens. So if you're a degen trader, this is the setting that you'd want to use, and then just make sure you choose, whatever tokens or whatever change you want. You can put it on all caps as well. I had it on micro caps. So now you're getting every single token that is brand new. And you can see the net flows over here, how many smart money traders are involved, inflows, outflows, liquidity, volume, the change over the last 5 minutes and the price. So this little seedling emoji means that it's a brand new token. And if you hover over these tokens, you can get a lot of information from that as well. But usually what you want to do, I mean, most people are going to be long-term holders, right, or mid-term holders. You'd want to at least do like a 24-hour, and I would want to change this token age so there's no restriction. And now I'm going to see just any token, like for example, cow here. I made a post yesterday. Let me bring it back up here. So cow. I made a lot of posts last night, so I got to find it here. Here it is. So a smart high leverage perp trader, which just means that they do a lot of futures trading on different tokens. They took a large position in cow. They spent $275,000, and they spread their purchases over Coinbase, Uniswap, and cow protocol to minimize slippage. So if you read the rest of this and you look at the AI agent output here, Nansen does have an AI agent that you can access. I even got the wallet address there if you want it of that person. But if you go to Nansen and you click here, try Nansen agent, you link your Telegram account, you click try Nansen agent, then it's going to bring up, which it's not going to work on this browser because I've got it on a different browser, but it'll bring up your Telegram, and you can ask it things just like any AI agent, but it'll tell you crypto specific things. So if you want to look up a wallet's like their transactions, or see if it's a wallet you want to track, or I mean there's so many different prompts that you can do. I mean it's really endless. So check that out. I also did a video on that in my profile if you want to check that out on Twitter. Just look for it. I just posted it yesterday. So what we're looking at currently, cow is kind of in the leader right now with a lot more net flow than anything else over the last 24 hours. So if you hover over this, or if I click through, which I just held down CTRL and clicked it, these are some of the tricks I wanted to show you, because I know some of you out there already use Nansen, and some of you may be interested in it, and I'm going to show you what makes it so powerful. So here we have cow. This is the daily chart. It's pretty much down near support. It hasn't made much of a move yet. Here's a lot of history back here. It had a pump. Here's some consolidation, maybe an inverted head and shoulders move here, possibly. It'll need to get out of that 0.48 range before it'll really get going again. But you can see here, this is that person that I highlighted in that Twitter post, and you can see their net flows over, well actually they're still holding 100% of the tokens. It shows their net flows are 145K, but it was actually more than that. So what you can do is you can right click and you can click on wallet profiler for token. And now I'm going to open up this next tab that I opened, or that I set up just now. And now once this loads, you're going to get all of the information about where they bought, if they withdrew the tokens out of the exchange, things like that. And I'll show you that here in just a second once it loads up. So while we're waiting on that, you can see some tags here. They're a 30-day smart trader, which means they tend to hold longer. They're a token millionaire. They're a whale. They interact with like the liquidity pools often. So they're usually early on these plays. And then of course they're a smart HL perps trader like we talked about a minute ago. So they currently hold a value of 271,000 of cow protocol. And they first received 5 days ago, meaning they haven't held this position for long. So the way that we know this is definitely a buy is we have these little symbols here, where yesterday, or actually on the 5th, I think is where they first started buying it. The B means buy, bought, and it shows that how much they bought right there. Some of the tokens were transferred in. All of the tokens were transferred out. They were withdrawn to another like cold storage. So there's a lot of information here, but you can also see that same information all down here. What exchange they purchased it from. So if the exchange is on this side, and then their wallet name is right here, that means they're buying from the one on the left. So they're accepting the tokens from the exchange to their wallet, and that's them receiving the tokens, and they spent USD for it or whatever. You can actually go in and look at the transactions to see for sure how they purchased it. There's also a deep research button here that kind of acts like that Telegram AI agent. So if you click on it, you can just click off, and it's doing its thing in the background, and here in about 3 or 4 minutes it'll tell me that it's ready, and we'll pull that up and I'll show you what information it can show you. Yeah, so I think that's a very powerful thing here. You can see who bought. You could also see who sold. I mean, say we're getting close to the top, you think that Bitcoin's kind of slowing down and alts, have gone up massively and people are euphoric, and you're thinking, okay, well, I need to be thinking for myself that, because of the experience that I've seen from others saying that, if people are euphoric, I should be thinking about taking profits. So keep that in mind in the future. So you've got a top 100 account here. Wintermute you're not going to care about because that's just a market maker. I think that might possibly be a market maker here, but I'm not sure. If you want to make for sure that you're not getting exchanges, you can go down here to exclude labels and then click exchange. And usually that'll click it off, but I don't think there's any exchanges here anyway, so I guess that wouldn't matter. If you want to just make it really simple for yourself, just choose smart money, behavioral, public figure. Yeah, that's probably enough. So now you're getting, just what you're looking for. And you can see who has sold over the last 24 hours or go up to 7 days and kind of see what the information is showing you here. Now, you don't have to worry about net flows so much because you got that back here on this page. So here on the 24 hours, we've got Cal with 263K of net flows, meaning you've got inflows into smart money wallets of a 260K, but nobody is selling. There's no outflows. So inflows are coming into their wallets. Outflows would be going out to exchanges to prepare to sell. So this is a good sign that Cal is, and this isn't financial advice, none of it ever is, but this is a good sign that wallets are more interested in accumulating rather than selling currently. And you can change the 7-day, you can change the 30-day. I mean, when you change the 7-day, you're going to get different information though. So Cal ends up down here at number 5. You've got other ones ahead of it like Memo and KTA. Sometimes when you see this on a 7-day time period, you're probably too late to the move. I don't think that's the case with Cal, but if we hover over Memo, it looks like, just based on that, it might want to dip some more. KTA's dipping some, FARTCOIN's dipping some. Troll might be finding some support here. We can go into Troll and take a look at that. But I just want you to understand, switching between this is going to give you different information based on the time frame. We could go up to 30-day, and now your net flows are huge, like 6 million net flow, meaning positive net flow if it's green over here for Maker, or 2.13 million for Arrow. That's another great one. So if we go back to something like 7-day, and we click off smart money, now you're going to be looking at retail. This is what retail is purchasing. And so you got things like Syrup, there's FARTCOIN again, Useless, Floki. They're taking some risks on some of these. I know Desync is a big one. We actually found this one early in 2024 and made a 40x on it. If you step up to a 30-day, you've got something that's 500,000 right there. SUSDE, I don't know if that's a staking token. It might be. But here's JLP. That's pretty well known. I think, is that related to Jupiter somehow, maybe? There's Floki again. HNT. And again, I've said this in previous videos, but make sure that you're switching between the caps, based on what you want. So we're going to get completely different information if we go to large caps versus if we went to something like small caps. So, you can switch back and forth on those, and just depends on what you're looking for. Like small caps here is any market cap between 1 million and 50 million. It'll actually tell you what it is. So that helps you. You can change sectors. Maybe you just want to look at AI and AI agents. Save that. Now we're just looking at AI, which could be very useful to you. And then maybe we just want to look at smart money to get high conviction. And now you've got a token here, last 30 days, called Brain. There's Tau. People know Tau. It's showing up. There's ETHY. We found that one early before the move just recently by going through these videos. So, going through these videos can help you for sure. Here's the 7-day. And I'm going to show you the 24-day for AI, just so you have it. Swarms, we got alert on very early in 2024, I think around October, December. range. I think it was October actually, and it did 100x. Unfortunately, I didn't enter that one, but it just shows how powerful Nansen is. You can find these very early. And I think Moni actually helped with that as well. It's called Moni Discover if you want to look it up, and I'll actually have a discount code for Moni Discover in the description below as well. It's a social, like alpha hunter type of an app, so it's a little bit different than Nansen. So here's your 24-hour for smart money, and we're probably going to end it here because I don't want to make this too long. We're about 15 minutes now. What you have currently, and you can sort this a couple of ways. So number one, it starts out sorted by net flows, so you're getting the highest net flows. If it's red down here, then that's negative. That means there's more selling than buying happening. So currently these are your top ones, 24 hours, but that's small caps. If we want to look at all, then here's your list right here for all for smart money. So this is sorted by net flows. If you want to sort by how many smart money are actually in these plays, you've got 3 here that have 4 smart money wallets that have been trading these: REI, Virtual, and Guy. KARRAT, there's a couple other, SNAI or SNAI, PAL. Some of these are recognizable. But if I just wanted to switch back to net flows, then the order of the list changes, and Tau is right there in the top 6. SPECTRE you might recognize, or LLM. Virtual is always up there, seems like. It's been very strong. And then we'll step back and look at the 7-day. Yeah, there's FARTCOIN at the top, Tau, FET. FET is very recognizable from last cycle, Shogoth. Yeah, we talked about a couple of those. But you can go on to more pages. I mean, you don't have to just stay at one page. You know, there's more net flows here in the positive. ELIZA, Serve. So these may be some of the ones. There's ARC up there. These may be some of the ones that you want to look into. There's GRIFFAIN, Forest. These are a lot of the ones that we're pumping in 2024. If I hover over GRIFFAIN, or if I just go ahead and click through and look at it, I think there was another one we were going to look at here. What was it? Troll. Yeah, so Troll's already had a huge pump. When you see something like this, I don't know what this, how big did this pump? Yeah, it's a 15x move. I mean, people make the mistake of trying to jump into these after they've already made a 10 or 15x move. Now, I'm not saying that it can't go higher. It probably will, but just understand that you can get a better buy, a better entry if you'll just be patient for a little while. And if you miss it, I mean, Nansen has a lot of other tokens that you can jump into. You don't have to jump into this one. So let's see, what were we going to look at? Okay, GRIFFAIN. Yeah, so this one has been basing for a while. It's at support. We're starting to see some token millionaires purchase it. You see right there, they haven't sold much. In fact, most of these people haven't sold much. But you can also click on holders here, and I actually forgot to show this to you. And we're going to wrap it up with this. So once this loads, you're going to see you got top 100 addresses, you got smart money, any of these tabs you can click on. Here's public figure, whales, and exchanges. I'm not going to worry about the exchange one right now. So let's look at the last 7 days. And here you have, so this yellow line is the balance on the exchange, and it dipped a little bit. And then as soon as price started going up, look how people started buying. And this was a mistake. You got to be buying when things are low, not when things are pumping. So as price was peaking right here, people were accumulating a lot, and then price dropped. So if you can stay patient, you can get a much better price usually. I do believe that the alt season isn't far away, and it's already started actually, in my opinion. But still you want to try to buy tokens that are a good value for you instead of buying things that are up like 10x already. So for the top 100, things are kind of flat right now. Not many people buying. If we looked at smart money, there was a big accumulation back here when things were low, and this is what makes them smart, right? They're doing just what we talked about. They're buying when things haven't moved yet, and then they're selling when things peak, which really they're still holding on to most of their position, which is a good sign. Here's a public figure, and you can see who it is that's buying down here by this green bar. This is an account called Brox. I guess they're pretty well known on, on Twitter or something. But they started accumulating just like smart money way down here, big conviction. And now they're just waiting for it to climb so they can make a nice profit. And then whales, we'll see what they were doing here as well. This is that person, that public figure. And this is their holdings right here. You can see where they bought. I'm just waiting on it to populate here. I'm going to switch it to the daily chart. Okay, so whales have pretty much been selling with that pump, or actually as it's been coming down. So whales don't really see it as much of a value just yet, although that, I mean, it's kind of surprising to me. I would imagine this will start turning up again at some point for them. And here you go right here. This person transferred in. They have another wallet. So if you see this where it says TI transferred in or transferred out, that means they're either receiving it from one wallet or sending it to another. So you can click into their other wallet, and it's a high P&L, high net worth wallet. Both of them are. So this would be a wallet that you'd want to track probably. And if you wanted to do that, I did promise somebody in my last video comments that I would supply some wallet addresses from these videos. So I'm going to add that to the comment section below. I'll add this one specifically and maybe a few more wallets that look like they're profitable. But you can also click through on this wallet. So this person has at least 2 wallets. So they sent GRIFFAIN that they were storing from this one to this one. And we can see where they bought. Sorry, I meant to do it a different way here. So wallet profiler for token is what you would need to see that. We're just going to see where they originally bought it if we can find it. So you can do some research and try to find this. And of course you could hit deep research as well. There's a lot of information on some of these tokens or some of these wallets. You know, they do a lot of transactions, so you know, just be patient a little while and this will load up for you. Yeah, so here's where they bought it from Radium. This would have been back in, well, actually just 6 days ago. Yeah, there it is right there. So now we can see for sure, yeah, they definitely bought here. They transferred it out, and we know that they transferred it out to this wallet right here because we can see it. You know, you got to transfer in from this wallet, which we just looked at here. So I know that may be confusing, but just go through this video again if I went too quick. I want to end it there because I don't want to make this too long for you. We're going to keep these videos short, and I hope y'all have a good week. We'll do another one of these next week, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. You know, share this video with your friends if you think this is the type of content that they like. I would strongly recommend to use Nansen if you are looking for, you know, something that'll help you find tokens that are ready to move. And the discounts below in the description, or if you want something that will help you find, you know, buy and sell signals for these tokens, then you want to use something like this, which is called Engineering Robo. And so it'll give you buy signals, it'll give you sell signals. You know, it's kind of, you don't have to use your brain much for something like this, but if you want something like that, which I showed in my profile up here that had a 40x back in November 2024. You know, it gave a buy signal, gave a sell signal, perfect 40x. If you want something like that, just check the description. It's got a 7-day free trial. All right, y'all take care.